Welcome to Insight with Moonshadow. I'm Moonshadow. I'm an integrative holistic therapist, intuitive shaman, interfaith minister, and chief evangelist with over 30 years of experience in the healing field here in the U.S. as well as internationally. And my intention is to help you connect to your inner self as well as you connecting to the world around you. So part of this is about social activism. It's also about becoming more in tune with who you are, how you connect in the world, what can you learn, what can you share, what your experiences are. All those things are part of this, and I appreciate all of you for being here with me on this adventure I call Insight with Moonshadow. So now today, happy Halloween, happy Samhain. It really resonates in a big way with a lot of people. Now, no, I can see there are people, and I want to say I'm dual broadcasting here, Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live. So, how you doing, Carl? Welcome, welcome. And I can see comments on both Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live. So it's so I really appreciate you guys being here. So now with Halloween, okay, Halloween, we all know Halloween and Samhain to some of our differently spiritually type people, alternatively spiritual people, that we look at ghosts and goblins and candy and all of that. And it's pretty amazing stuff. And it's fun. Lindsay, you made it. Great to see you. And looking at it from that perspective, it's so much more than candy and the Halloween masks and everything. The background, the backstory to Samhain or to Halloween or All Hallowed Eve is dripped and deep in pagan and spiritual history. Now also too, we'll be talking about the betwixt and between, about the veil. Well, I'm glad to see you here, Lindsay. Now, in between the veil here, spiritually, a lot is going on with the world today. And a lot of it is going on with the earth as well. We actually just are coming from a new moon in Scorpio. So, let's start with All Hallowed Eve first. With the veil, we have a very thin membrane. Hey, Michael. We have a very thin connection between dimensions here, between here and the beyond. Now, a lot of people don't realize, like, if you have your intuition, your instincts, you have things that come up. Your sixth sense comes up. You start knowing and feeling things. We all have our totems, which I've mentioned previously in other shows. We have spirit guides and totems and life protectors and guardian angels. All of these things kind of protect us and follow us and make sure that we're okay. Now, of course, some of us believe and some of us don't. Now, I'm one of those people that do believe. I believe there's more to it than what we see, hear, feel, and touch. I do believe that there is higher powers and a greater source, more so than I. So now, looking at it from that perspective, Halloween isn't all about the scary stuff. A lot of this is also about respect and honor to people that have passed on before us. The Dias de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. How we respect people that have passed on, ancestors, our family members. All of that really comes into play here with Halloween. And not enough, and I'm going to say not enough people actually look at it from that perspective. And this is one of the reasons why I'm bringing it on today, on such a momentous day. Now, with Halloween, you may find a strong connection to the elements. You may find a strong connection to the new moon. That's just coming in. It's in Scorpio. It came in on the 30th yesterday. Now, with a new moon, as you've learned previously, if you've seen previous shows and previous episodes, yes, All Souls Day as well. Now, there is a political bent to this too. A lot of other spiritual faiths did not want to accept the pagan holiday, but they did, but they didn't, and all that. So again, this is no judgment to anyone, anyone's belief system. All I'm doing is connecting with all of you to say it's a spiritual time. So however you decide to celebrate, it's still a spiritual time. So it doesn't matter if you're Christian, Catholic, or a pagan, or a pantheist. This is all a very, very spiritual time. The earth presently is in the time of when it's the transformation, when it's the falling of the leaves, right? The different coloring. The earth is going into a hibernated state, into more of an introspective state, into more of a reflective state. So now if you think about it that way, it's not as spooky and as scary, other than your own inner self, right? That could be a little spooky, and that could be a little scary. But ultimately, this is all a big time of reflection. This is all a big time and space for you to kind of take a look at what no longer serves you and what you really want coming into your life. So looking at it, a lot of children have imaginary friends. They're usually totems or life protectors, believe it or not. And also, too, at this time, during Halloween, the veil is very, very thin. Now, anyone that's really energetically connected or spiritually connected to the world around you, you're going to find that there's a heightening or a quickening with around this time of year. A lot of times people back in the olden days, back in the day, they used to have a dumb supper. They used to put out an extra plate for ancestors and people that have passed, out of respect and homage to the people that have paved the way to our own families. So now, that being said, Halloween is a lot more to it than just witches and goblins and jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins and all of that. It's a time to reflect and to honor where we've come from. And that's pretty big. Now, of course, the fun portion of this, having kids in costumes and everything, even then, using the masks were not necessarily to scare people, was actually to scare darkness and scare the negative forces, to ward them off. That's another reason why a lot of churches, you see gargoyles or grotesques on their buildings. So if you really look at all of this as a whole, we really are so connected spiritually without even really knowing it. We're all connected. It doesn't matter what you believe, it doesn't matter what your faith is, there's an underlying energy there. There are all the Creator's children. So taking a look at that, if you feel a little interesting, an interesting pull for more passion, if you feel a more interesting pull towards really wanting to do more, wanting to change things. Hello, we have Sean in the house. Pleasure seeing you. So we're all connected. So you're going to find a lot of your intuition's going to be piqued, whether or not, and if you think about it, whether or not you are Oh my goodness, am I still here? Okay, resume. Sorry about that, guys, on Facebook Live. So all of us are connected. So does it matter if it's a guardian angel or it's a totem, or if it's a life protector, or if it's someone that's passed on, a loved one, an ancestor? All of it matters. All of it's connected. All of it's meaningful. And a lot of times we don't really see it that way. Whether it be fears of spirituality, whether it be fears of what's going on, what's happening, it's really not as scary as you think. Sometimes it's good to go out of the box and really delve deeper into who you are, where you come from, what your own family traditions were, and go from that. So now, Halloween, the new moon, is another part of it too. Now, with the new moon being in Scorpio, all of this being caught up, your passion being piqued, don't be surprised if you're feeling a little more frisky with your significant other. So that's also a part of it too. But this new moon coming, in connection with Halloween and All Hallowed Eve, is bringing on new things. Now, do you want new things? Do you want new opportunities? Would you like more money in your paycheck? Would you like more passion in your life? Would you like to connect to your inner purpose? Now is the time. Now is the time to put that intention out there. So even though it started yesterday, I'm a big passionate advocate to working with the moon in all of its phases. So now, it being in Scorpio, you're looking at passion, you're looking at that firing energy, you're looking at that phoenix coming out of the ashes. That is powerful stuff. So, as you've heard me say prior to, you're either part of the solution or part of the problem. Are you going to piss and moan about things, or are you actually going to make strides? Are you going to move forward? Are you going to keep stepping forward and keep moving forward? Now, it's your choice, because we all have free will. So now at this point, I have to say, like with Halloween is such a deeply spiritual time, where you're going into an introspective energy. You really have to shine and show your true measure, your true metal, to know who you really are now. So it's no wonder if you're feeling kind of lost right now, if you're feeling like things aren't quite what you want them to be. Well, I can tell you there's a reason why. All of the, Mother Earth and Gaia does make these changes within us. So looking at it from that perspective, we are responsible to whether to see or not to see, to feel or not to feel, to connect or not to connect. And you can see how things are changing. How things are changing with Standing Rock, how things are changing politically. How all of this is changing. Welcome, Ariel. And it's always a pleasure seeing you here. And I have to say, I want to invite and welcome everyone here on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live. Thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your day and out of your Halloween. And granted, if you have children, it's craziness. It's craziness to have your kids. You have to make sure they're in costume, and they want to visit all the relatives, all of that. So I appreciate all of you. And I send lots of love and light and good juju to you all for being here and spending time. Now back to the new moon. You can go ahead and now make intention. You can bring intention into what you want to bring into your life, whether it be more stability, more grounding, more love. And I have to say, Shauna Marie, they have between Ty, Shauna Marie, and Nicole, they have a great show as well. And they were also in costume, and I loved their costumes as well. So it's like, this is the time to go within and actually not only, you know, enable and encourage your inner child, but also go within and say, okay, what needs to go? And of course, yes, Messengers of Spirit, you're going to check out as well here on YouTube. And you definitely want to check out them and subscribe, because they are a great group of intuitives and healers. So you want to check them out for sure. And no, and I approve this message, but also it's just spreading the good juju out to people. But also too now, so going within into your inner child, looking at those dark corners, spooky. Looking within yourself, really scary. The dark night of the soul. Looking at all of that really makes a huge difference, because who are you going to be when you come out of this? Who are you going to be when you come out from where you were to who you are? Because it's changing all the time. It's happening all the time. So if you want to be one of those people that does not look into it, that's okay. No judgment, no criticism. But there's an accountability and responsibility for you to take care of you, to take care of the people around you. And that being said, that is a big, huge thing here. That's the big change. That's the big difference. That's why a lot of us intuitives and healers and shaman and shamanic people live with the rhythm of the world, live with Mother Earth, connect with the Creator and God Source as is. That's why we do it. Because it's our way of being our best and connecting to our best. And thank you so much for your kind words, Shauna. You are pretty amazing yourself. So now taking a look at this, taking a look at how we connect into the world, who we are as people, who we are. You know, I firmly believe that we are souls actually experiencing a human existence, because we are energy. And for your scientific types, since energy cannot be created nor destroyed, then that means we are automatically here, and we are automatically immortal. And I tongue-in-cheek say, since I can't afford it to die or to get sick, then by default I'm immortal anyway. So go fig. But looking at that, looking at this time frame, going from how things are starting to change, they're going into that hibernetic state, that reflective state, that introspective state. Now it's time for you to take a real good look at how you view things, where you go, and who you have connected to you. Is there anyone that you missed, that you lost connection with? If there is, try to reach out to them. Now, this could be a slippery slope. If they are disconnecting from you, they might be in a weird place where they cannot reach back out to you. You can only do your best. And I myself have tried to do that with people that I've lost connection with. And it really depends on, it takes two, right? It takes two to tango. Now, Shauna is saying this new moon's energy has brought a big shift. I can feel a lot of newness coming forth, things moving and rearranging energetically, and they are. And this is a big part of it. A lot of this new moon energy, even if you are someone that doesn't believe in this stuff, you're going to feel some strange, energetic pull. You could be like, why am I feeling a little more lost? Why am I feeling like there's something missing? Why am I feeling like I should be doing something? This energy is the pull of the elements. This is the pull of the universe telling you there's more to it. There's more to you. Now it's time to stand up, to spread your wings, to be your voice, to use your voice, express yourself. So energetically, whether or not you know or whether or not you believe, it's happening. Very much like that old saying, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Do you have to be there to hear it? It does make a sound, doesn't it? So looking at it from that perspective, now is a time where you can really connect with your guides, with your angels, with your totems, with yourself. Now let's just put aside the beings in our own soul council. Now I have my own inner council, my own tribe itself, that they make sure that I'm safe. So I don't have to worry about where I go. And I've been to some pretty crazy places. I've gone to third world countries where, you know, there's crime and corruption, where every 3 seconds there's some kind of violent crime. But the beauty of it, as feral or as dangerous it could be, there's a beauty in it. And I was safe the whole time. And that's connecting with my inner council, my soul tribe, my protectors and guides and totems, my ancestors. So really, it's all about your accessibility to how you are looking and how you're feeling. Thank you so much for being here, Shona. She's heading out. Well, you have a blessed Samhain as well. And may you have a lot of wonderful, lots of candy. May you have a bevy of candy. I know, because as you become an adult, you can't go trick-or-treating like you could when you were cute and little and looking like a pumpkin or a ghost or a witch or Elsa from Frozen. So may you have lots of candy. But this is all part of what's happening right now. This is all part of the turning of the place we call home. All these seasons are here for a reason. All the things, all the energy that we are seeing here. And you should raid your kids' stashes, by the way, because you're protecting them, you're saving them from themselves. There you go. Think about that. You're saving them from themselves. They got to share the wealth. We got to share the wealth, spiritually, intuitively, share of ourselves, as well as sharing the candy. Absolutely. Now, is that you, Lance? I believe it is you. But welcome everyone for coming here so far to Insight Moonshadow on the spooky Samhain All Hallowed Eve edition here, episode 41. Now, I've been doing this for 41 weeks, and I have the pleasure and the honor of doing this weekly to connect with all of you and to share my experience and my travels and my adventures, as well as learning about you and learning about your type thing too. Except if you're a type 2 diabetic. Yeah, well, there's sugar-free candy. Even though I don't like sugar-free candy, if it's not sugar, it doesn't have sugar, but even diabetics can enjoy sugar-free. They can enjoy Halloween too. So that's really important. So now, taking a quick look here. Who are you? Where do you, how do you connect in the world? What would you change? What would you bring in? Now, working with this new moon energy, you could bring in some new stuff. You can bring in some new energy. You could bring in a new project. Now, granted too, there's a lot of fertility involved. So if you're planning to have a baby, or if you'd like to have a baby, now is a very fertile time, especially a new moon in Scorpio. Just saying. Passions are going to be fired up. Passion for new things, new projects. All these things are going to be heightened for you presently. And this started yesterday. But as the moon's very, very powerful. So you'll find it's going to continue. The power doesn't doesn't dissipate right away. It doesn't go from 0 to 60, then it's gone. So even if you have not done any kind of ceremony or ritual or prayer or affirmation or anything like that, you're going to be able to still work with that energy. So that's coming. So it's still working within you. I'm a little more out of the box with a lot of what I do with my ceremony, with my ceremonies. So if you're a day in, a day out, a few hours in, a few hours out, you could still work with that energy, because it's better that you've done it than not do it at all. Correct? So, what are your family traditions? What are you doing today? What are you looking, what does your Halloween look like? What is your autumn or fall motivations? How do you feel about it? These are all things to think about. And feel free to share it in the chat, either on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. I invite your experience of the season and what you think and where you're at in the world today, how you're dealing with the energy that's around us. And anyone that's heading out to go trick-or-treating with the kiddos, I hope they're doing really well, and I hope good juju and good energy comes into who you are, into your life presently. Oh, there you go. Okay, and Lance is going to the bar as an alien. Have one for me. Please do. There's nothing wrong with engaging in a little spirit to engage with spirits a little bit. Of course, you have to be reasonable here and be responsible. But there you go. That's a whole different scenario. And also be careful. This is another thing too, to be on the careful. Yeah, watch out for clowns, Michael is saying. And also too, this is the other side of this time of year, Halloween specifically. You have to be careful and watchful for people that don't necessarily have the greatest intent. Now, I never had a problem with clowns, and I presently don't have a problem with clowns. However, there is a pretty strong phobia of clowns and people in masks. Now, I firmly believe that a lot of us tend to wear a mask. We tend to project ourselves a certain way out to the world, and we are someone else internally. Now, I'm relatively transparent, so I'm pretty much out of the box, and you can ask anyone that has met me from, offline, online, in person, not in person, via mail, text, whatever. I'm basically the same person. Now, all of us are who we are. So be aware of people that do wear masks. Not everyone is capable of being their true self for whatever reason. And again, no judgment and no criticism here. But be aware. You got to be protective anyway. And I will say, guides and life protectors and your angels and your totems, they're on the ball. Trust me when I tell you. You may not even acknowledge them, but they're there to protect you and to make sure you're safe. They're assigned to you for a reason. They're there to help you for a reason. So it's something to really think about. So being safe is important. Be responsible is important, of course. But now looking at it energetically, looking at it within yourself, I would say at this point, I'm sure that none of our lives are perfect, right? Perfection is a myth. You can try to aspire to be as perfect as you can, or as great as you can, or as good as you can. And that's important. There is no perfect, straight on, all the time awesomeness. You can do your best, and that's what you can do. So that being the case, now is a time for bringing in new things. Now is a time for looking at who you are as a person, who you are. What is your message? What is your purpose in the world? What are you supposed to say? How are you supposed to put yourself out there for? All these things make a difference right now. And this is where times are changing. Now, I'm not just talking about spiritually or physically or energetically. I'm talking about every aspect of who you are. Because all of us are light bringers in one way, shape, or form. All of us are here for a purpose. And to connect to that inner purpose is really, really paramount, especially now. Whether it be politically, whether it be within your own community, whether it be with your church, whether it be with a group, whether it be, with your social position, where you are in the world. Because ultimately, we are all of the same tribe. We are all of the same people. So it's something to think about as well in your adventure, in your journey of personal introspection. So now, here we are, Halloween. It's not dark yet. However, it comes quick. And before you know it, it's going to be insane. And we're going to see a lot of princesses and princes and Marvel superheroes. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Batmans and Hulks and a lot of different costumes. Embrace this energy. Hug your inner child. Enjoy it for the fullness of what it really is. Is it meant to be scary and creepy and all that? That's just the facade. It's really about us being playful and us going within and saying, who do I want to be? Who am I? Taking a real good look deep down within our heart and soul and saying, is it wrong for me to let my inner child out? Well, I can personally say it's not wrong. If I had a little more leeway, I would have probably come in a costume, but I'm just me right now. Even the fangs, it's kind of like me. So it's more who you are as a person, how you connect, and how you project who you truly, truly are. Really, truly are. And I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of you that come to the show, and I've had a lot of soulful conversations with you. And I can say that the energy and the light within you is far brighter than you think. Things are far better than you can imagine. And if you take a real good look at that, give yourself the credit. Really look at who you are and what you're doing. Is there a book that you've wanted to write? Write it. Is there something new you've wanted to try? Do it. Because this is the time to do it. The now. Being it right now. You don't necessarily have to be at the mercy of externals all the time. You have the ability to make changes, some changes, how you cope with things, how you go through things. You know? Ty, welcome, welcome. You have the power and the strength and the ability to really get past the adversity that is your life and move forward. And now is a perfect time. Since the veil is so thin, you have the added strength of your ancestors. You have the added strength of your guides. You have the added strength to be able to manage things a bit better. So now, take a look at that. Make an intention. Bring in new energy, new enhanced energy, new involved energy. Oh, I'm so glad. And a lot of, and Ty is saying that she's resonating very much with the words that are coming. And honestly, I am just a vessel. Ultimately, as an intuitive and as a healer and as a shaman, I am only a vessel. I'm only a voice. I connect to everything and everyone around me. And I am a voice. And that's really important. Because you don't have to be someone prominent to be a voice. You don't have to, be someone that has a ton of money to be the voice, or to spread your wings, or to share a message. We have a whole new world with social media. If you can have a little girl want to connect to a charity and do something on social media, it's going to expand itself. It's going to expand itself in a big way. One thing that I just posted recently is about a girl with Down syndrome. She's a preschool teacher, and she's been a preschool teacher since 2012. That's amazing. And this is what I'm trying to say. It's not about how limited you are. It's about how unlimited you can be. And it's very easy to see a wall and be like, okay, well, I can't get, there's a wall. I'm telling you that there's far more. You have far more ability to be able to get past this. And now, with the veil being so thin, and it's getting thinner every day. So it's not just Halloween that it's thin. It's at its thinnest now during Samhain. It's at its thinnest. But we have the ability, through our own journey, to connect. And again, some of you are going to be fearful, and I get it. If you weren't raised that way, of course, nature versus nurture. If you weren't raised to embrace your gifts, if you weren't raised to know that there's more out there than just yourself, just your community, just your political structure, just your financial situation, that's okay. I'm telling you there's more. And this is why I bring it up. This is why I bring my show here. This is why I share my wisdom that I've been given to you. Because it's more than just me. I'm just a voice and a speaker. So all of this really makes a huge difference. And you can make changes. And now's the time to do it. You can work with phases of the moon. And again, you could be a Christian and work with phases of the moon. You don't have to you can call it whatever you like. Because spirituality is spirituality. There is no limit there. So you want to connect. So when you think, your kid wants to be a ghost or a goblin, they just want to be a ghost or a goblin. They actually, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that the reason why they would wear masks like that, and churches have gargoyles and they have grotesques for that reason. It was to ward off any kind of negative connection, any kind of negative influence. So if you really, really think about that, it's really not what you see. It's what is actually behind that mask. It's actually the intention behind it. So this is something to think about. This is something to look at. This is something to really connect with. Now, I've been out of the box ever since I was a little kid, so I never had that worry, that stigma and dogma of things. I was bullied a little bit when I was a kid as well. It was pretty hardcore. But that just made me affirm more to who I was and what my life purpose was, to speak for the people that can't speak for themselves. So in that same way, all of us have something to say. All of us have a lesson to learn and a lesson to teach. All of us do. So are you an influencer? Yeah, you are. You could be an influencer, for your group. You can be an influencer for your community. You could be an influencer to the world. You never know. So this is where I challenge you. This is where I kind of pique your interest, put a bug in your ear, whisper encouragement, and a little bit of a challenge. Just to say you are bigger and stronger and more powerful than you could ever imagine. If you really think about that. Think about that for a second. You are not just your experience. There's more to you. There's a deeper part of you that you may not even be connecting with presently. And that could make the whole difference in your life. That could make the whole world a different place for you. So, why not? Why not do it? Why not see what's inside you? Why not take those hidden talents that people said that, oh, you'll never accomplish anything, or you'll never do this, those people that are limited themselves. Connect with that passion. Connect with your purpose. Or look for it. Be it. So now with the moon the way it is, the new moon in Scorpio, and again, I invite you to look further deeper into what's around you. Look deeper in who you are. Because when you do that, I can guarantee it's going to be a journey, and it's going to be an adventure. It's got to be something that you're going to be amazed. Once you do find out, you're going to be amazed at who you see on the other side of the mirror. It's pretty powerful stuff. And this is why I live shamanically. This is why I earth as often as I can. Last year, I went earthing in the snow prior to going on my show. It's all about connecting. It's all about connecting to the elements around us. It's all about connecting to our guides. It's all about connecting to your spirituality, who you are, how you think, where you come from, and where you're going. That is pretty crazy stuff. And it could be spooky, like of course, in the darkness, it could be, you don't know what it is, right? But in looking at it from that perspective, in the dark could be something amazingly beautiful. Recently, hey, Chrissy, welcome, welcome. Chrissy coming from Denmark. Always a pleasure seeing you. I had to clear out my attic recently. Talk about dark spaces. And I had a bunch of boxes that I haven't seen in a long, long time. Now, darkness, you're looking at darkness, you're looking at musty, dusty places that we don't pay attention to. I found some hidden treasures that I haven't seen in a long time. Star Wars trading cards. Beautiful memories. A box I made in woodshop when I was in high school. All these things were in the dark, where I haven't shed light on in a long time. So these are the hidden gems. There may be things that are going to be a little scary for you in this time of introspection. There may be some things you don't want to deal with, things you don't want to look at. But I can tell you, when you do look at them, you're going to find yourself better, more equipped, and more ready for the new things that are coming around the corner. And things are happening all the time. And this is something to think about. Now, I can honestly say, as far as today's show, it's all really about introspection. It's all about betwixt and between, being connected, seeing how close the veil is, respecting and honoring your ancestors, people that are past, people you've lost, people you've lost connection with. But also, too, it's also about expanding your mind, expanding your spirit to really look and really see who you are to become. Oh, thank you. I figured I'd go out for a bite later. And strangely enough, when I had these made, because these are custom, the artist that actually made them said to me, he goes, I've done a lot of fangs in my time, and this particular set look like it really fits in your mouth. So yeah, so it's definitely who I am. And I don't always view myself as human or superhuman, more so a little bit of both. So who knows what happens when the moon is full. But taking a big look at this, I'm going to be closing out the broadcast shortly. I'm sure that a lot of you have some Halloween things to do, candy to pass out, ghouls and goblins and princesses to say hello to. And I got to do the same. And looking at it from that perspective, yeah, I have, these are natural as well too. They're just a little bit longer now. But I do. But connecting with that inner child, also looking at what makes you you is really, really important. Because that really makes a big, huge difference. And with this new moon, it just gets better. It just gets more powerful. You today, you're going to change. Whether you like it or not, change is inevitable. So this is something to think about. You're going to go into a new year, into a new evolution of who you are. Whether you like it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, things are going to change. Because everything that you do today, what you're doing right now, this very second, is going to reflect later. So why not work with the positive? Why not get rid of the old? Why don't you purge the things that aren't working for you anymore and start to really shine? Now, my healing practice is called Phoenix Rising. And the Phoenix happens to be one of my totems as well. But you too right now can also be like the Phoenix coming from the ashes. And that's an inopportune phone call. This is what happens when you should shut your ringer off. But in looking at that, okay, what happened? I lost the video. Oh, it's I think there was a pause in the video real quick. It looked like there was a little bit of a pause, but that's part of the energy too. So who knows? But but this is all a big part of it. So now I'm going to close up. I'm going to close up the show and the broadcast. And anyone that's here is perfectly welcome. Oh, you can? Oh, fantastic. And you can see me and hear me. You reloaded it? Beautiful. Yeah, there's a lot of spiritual activity. A lot of things coming. But looking at the energy that we see now, looking at the energy that's happening around us presently, you have the ability and you have the power and the strength to make some changes. You are not stuck, not completely. Certain things you're going to be stuck with for a little amount of time, and other things you can move forward. So that being said, taking a real good look at what no longer works and what works for you, bringing in the new, because now is the time for bringing in the new. As it comes into a full glorious moon, you have the ability to do a lot of other work. So that's something to think about. But right now, it's time to bring in what you're looking for. Utilize an affirmation. Now, I've shared little ceremonies prior to, and thank you for all the love and the hearts and the support. Appreciate that. So, however you want to utilize this new moon energy, whether you say a prayer or work with mantras or you do meditation, utilize some form of ceremony or ritual for you to bring in some new things. Really, really important. Because every little thing that you do, all that energy you put out there is going to come back. No different than that little pebble in the pond. The ripples become larger and larger and larger and larger. So you have the choice. You have the ability. You have the strength and the power and the support. This is something we forget. You're never fully alone. So your guides, and this is a message coming from my guides to you. Be reminded that you are protected, that you are here for a reason. There is a journey for you. There is a purpose for you. And it's your job to find out what it is. I can help. I can guide you. But it's your journey. And it's your destination. And it's your trip. So if you really think about it from that perspective, this is really the big part of it. And Lance, I'm going to agree with you because it's been a strange trip for you, for sure. And also Chrissy as well. She's going through a lot of different new things as well, new changes. And that's a big part of what's happening now, is a lot of it is new changes, new beginnings, new adventures. You're still you. You're going to be an enhanced you after this moon. You're going to be even more enhanced you coming up. And there's a lot of changes happening in the world today. So whether you're on the bus or not on the bus, be aware of what's going on, because a lot of things are changing and a lot of things are happening. Open your eyes and just connect, because all of us have that ability to make change. All of us have that ability to influence. All of us have that ability to be the light in the darkness. All of us have that what's the word I'm looking for? All of us are some form of teacher, guide, student, messenger. And yes, I will agree with you, Lance. It would be really awesome to have a reset button. I would love to reset things. Unfortunately, it's usually just an update or a new patch. You know, in lieu of how technology works, it's a patch. It'd be great to reset the whole thing. But you can still make changes. You can still make things better. Whether it be a step, a baby step, or a giant leap, you have the ability to do that right now. And think about this for a second. A lot of you may have never thought of the moon as something you can work with. You've never thought of juju, energy, magic. How can we move forward? Interesting. Now, Chrissy's saying, is there an afterlife, meaning an after show? Well, I'd be glad to invite all of you to the after show after this broadcast. I don't know. I know a lot of people have little kiddos and little children, and they have to put out candy and all that good stuff. But of course, as always, I always invite and open up, even if it's for a little while, a bit of an after show where I can see and talk and interact with you guys more face to face, instead of just the camera being on my face and just you being words on a screen. So I would love to be able to connect with you guys. And what I can do is, unfortunately on YouTube, I cannot drop a link on YouTube Live. So I would suggest, how can I do this? Oh, good question. That's some of the little workarounds that I have to figure out. But if you are following me on Facebook or following me on YouTube Live, what you can do is check out on my Facebook. You're going to see Insight with Moonshadow. It's facebook.com/Insight with Moonshadow. I can't put it in this chat box for whatever reason. You can't put URLs in the chat box, but I will say this. If you look at facebook.com/Insight with Moonshadow, that page, what I will do is I will drop the link for the after show in that link, in that page, and then you guys can just click it and then come on over. And I would love to see you guys and spend some time with you guys on this amazing Halloween. It'd be fantastic. Yeah, I've tried to do that recently on Ty's show on Friday. I tried to do that as well, and I was just putting up their links, their websites, their respective websites, so people can connect with them, and it wouldn't go through. But I will, of course, in spirit of Insight with Moonshadow, I will find a workaround somehow, some way. But for now, If you go on to facebook.com/insight with Moonshadow, the page, I will drop in on all my social media. I will drop in the link for the after show where you guys can pop in. Yeah, I know. We'll work it through. It's a work in progress, but we'll make it happen. But I'm going to close out this particular broadcast on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, and just take a look at also my Twitter too. You can look at Moonshadow143 on Twitter as well. So you can also check me out there as well. But I'm going to close up this broadcast, and do look for me either on Twitter or on Facebook, and I'll definitely drop in a link to hopefully see you guys there. It'd be fun. It'd be fantastic and fun to get to spend some time with you guys before you go off and do your spirited journey this evening. So I want to thank you all for spending time with me here on Insight with Moonshadow. All of you inspire me to do this work. And again, episode 41, with tech glitches and changing of platforms, doing it live, and it's all because of all of you that I'm still doing it live weekly. So I appreciate all of you for being here with me every week on Mondays, and or Moon Days as I call them. And if you feel guided to connect or support, please follow and subscribe to me on my social media. Also, you can go on to phoenixrisinghealingarts.com or moonphoenixrising.com, and you will find all of my social links there. You can connect there to reach. And also, if you really like what I'm providing here on YouTube, please do subscribe. I really, really super appreciate the YouTube followers as well, so I can get an actual channel name as opposed to a bunch of numbers and letters after on my channel. So I appreciate it. And as I say every week, be strong, be amazing, be you. May you have a wonderful new moon, and may things go well, and see you soon. See you next week.